90 miles an hour is the speed I drive.
Namaste, everybody. Good to be back with you. Coach Duke Lowry here for the second installment of Woke Wednesdays. This week we have a clip from last year's World Economic Forum of former Vice President and now climate sociopath Al Gore discussing the lack of action on the world stage in efforts to combat climate change. Check it out.
We are not winning. The crisis is still getting worse faster than we are deploying these solutions, and we need to make changes quickly. Emissions are still going up. All these promises of the last few years to cut emissions are still going up. When are we going to bring these emissions down? And just to put the science in a slightly different context, people are familiar with that thin blue line that the astronauts bring back in their pictures from space. That's the part of the atmosphere that has oxygen, the troposphere.
Speaking of tropes, this man is a walking trope.
It's only 5 to 7 kilometers thick. That's what we're using as an open sewer. If you could drive a car straight up in the air at interstate highway speeds, you'd get to the top of that blue line in 5 minutes.
Thank you for putting that in perspective for me, Al.
And all the greenhouse gas pollution would be below you. We're still putting 162 million tons into it every single day. And the accumulated amount is now trapping as much extra heat as would be released by 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling.
This is why no one believes these people. This is why Al Gore is seen as such a fraud and a huckster and a hypocrite. He's telling us that the amount of accumulated heat is now trapping the same amount of heat that would be released from 600,000 atomic bombs every day. Now, I don't want to give the World Economic Forum any ideas, because I'm sure there's many there that would love to do this, but let's just say that we did release 600,000, we did drop 600,000 Hiroshima-sized bombs every day on the Earth's surface. The environment would look markedly different than it does now, Al. Good God.
In the oceans, creating these atmospheric rivers and the rain bombs and sucking the moisture.
What the hell is a rain bomb? An atmospheric river. They just take naturally occurring weather phenomenon that have always happened, and they give it scary names like atmospheric river or rain bomb, because rain bomb is scarier than, a thunderstorm. A rain bomb.
The land and creating the droughts and melting the ice and raising the sea level and causing these waves of climate refugees predicted to reach 1 billion in this century. Look.
Why are you yelling? By the way, this is the most dire. If this was happening, if this was really happening the way he's describing it right now, everyone would know it. Like the entire world would be scorched earth. It would look like the world map they have behind them on the screen. And then the refugee thing. Now, these aren't environmental refugees. You can label them whatever you want, and that's what they're doing. They're being disingenuous. These are economic refugees. Some of them are fleeing persecution. A lot of them are fleeing war in the Middle East from the destabilization that the West has done, and in sub-Saharan Africa. But they're not environmental refugees by and large. Maybe very, very few in some drought-stricken areas. They are economic refugees. They are poor people who are coming to what they would call the global north, the developed world, Europe and North America and Australia, in order to earn more money and have a better life for themselves and their families. That's why they're coming. They're economic refugees, not environmental. And let's just take the sub-Saharan Africans who are coming across the Mediterranean now into Europe. They are certainly not environmental in most regards. because Africa has like 20% more greenery on it now than it did 20 years ago. Because of the CO2 that, your SUV puts into the air, that's carbon dioxide, that, that's what plants breathe. So it's good for the plants. Like, my God.
Xenophobia and political authoritarian trends that have come from just a few million.
So xenophobia and authoritarianism are now also results of climate change.
What about 1 billion? We would lose our capacity for self-governance on this world.
Again, why are you yelling? You're talking, you're literally preaching to the choir.
We have to act. So in answer to your question, I would say we have to have a sense of urgency much greater than we have yet had, and we need to make some changes. We've heard about divides at this conference between the North and South and the East and West. There's another divide, increasingly, between those who are old enough to be in positions of power and the young people of this world.
So angry. And I love this. Al Gore, this like 60, 70-year-old man, is a spokesperson for young people around the world.
Greta Thunberg was just arrested in Germany. I agree with her efforts to stop that coal mine in Germany. Young people around the world are looking at what we're doing. They look at the World Bank and they say, oh, you've got a climate denier in charge of the World Bank.
No, they're not. Young people are looking in their phones at TikTok. They're not looking at COP or the World Bank.
So why are you surprised that the World Bank is completely failing to do its job?
It's so angry. It's like at any moment I'm expecting him to like spontaneously combust into and then like collapse in on himself like a dying star, and there'll just be like a diamond sitting in the chair. And who's this with the hat? Who's the lady with this hat next to him? We're supposed to take these people seriously.
Secretary General says that. Everybody knows the World Bank is
that is a hat of like a crazy cat lady. You see them like the airport with their little Malteses and stuff, or they got a cat in a carrier and they're waddling through the airport. Like that's the kind of hat they wear. These are these are the people who tell us that they run the world. Like, man bear pig conspiracy theorist Al Gore here, like coming off the hinges.
Badly. Now we have the COP process. Okay. What do I say to these young activists that I train around the world when they come to me and they say, are you okay with putting the CEO of one of the largest oil companies in the world in as the president of the COP? Is that
yes,
really okay? Well, it's not whether he's a nice guy or not, or whether he's intelligent. The appearance of a conflict of interest undermines confidence at a time when
someone please tell that to the leader of his party in America right now.
Activists around the world, and I'm partly speaking for them right here on this
stage. Yes, because you speak for young people.
Have come to the conclusion that the people in authority are not doing their job. There's a lot of blah, 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 as Greta says. There are a lot of words, and there are some meaningful commitments, but we are still failing badly.
We're not doing what we're supposed to do.
We need to have a supermajority process instead of unanimity in the COP. We cannot let the oil companies and gas companies and petrostates tell us what is permissible. In the last COP, we were not allowed to even discuss scaling down oil and gas.
So who should then dictate what is permissible? Because if it was up to these people, crazy hat lady and unhinged man bear pig, you would turn the petrol taps off tomorrow, and we would all just freeze to death in the winter and die of heat exhaustion in the summer. We would have no way of getting to work because it's all gas powered. And then you want the electric vehicles? Well, we'd have no electricity. So until these people come up with something that actually works at scale to continue people's the human race's forward trajectory as far as standard of living goes, no one's going to sign up for this. other than some loony activists that he apparently trains, which makes sense now that he's the one training these climate activists. I mean, these are the people who glue themselves to highways in Europe and there was this one recently where they glued themselves to the conductor's stand at some European symphony house. Like, this is the guy who trains them.
Can't discuss it. A lot of the NDCs weren't even called for. Are we going to be able to discuss scaling down oil and gas in the next COP, or putting the oil?
Yes, artificially scaling down oil and gas, which means artificially driving prices up, which means artificially creating more poor people. Because that's what this is about. He's still going to fly on a private jet. The crazy cat lady over there is still going to fly on a private jet to Davos, where they eat, organically raised grass-fed Wagyu beefsteaks, and you will eat bugs and know nothing.
Industry in charge of the COP, is that going to tell young people around the world, we've just decided to not even disguise it anymore? Let me finish with this point on the industry.
Maybe the rest of his cohorts here at the World Economic Forum haven't let Al Gore in on the secret. The secret is they're all there to make more money. They are using this for more money, more power, and more control. They're not interested in climate change solutions because they don't believe in it. And we know they don't believe in it because they buy houses on beaches everywhere and fly in private jets. This is a race to the bottom for humanity. They would rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. And they want to stand atop the ashes of the world and be the last one standing. I mean, it's just total psychopathy.
You've had problems in your area where you tried to get legislation and the oil and gas industry came in and fought you, right?
Yeah, they killed my cat.
State, same thing. Every piece of pro-climate legislation at the national level, the regional level, the local level, municipal level, the oil and gas industry and the coal industry, they come in and fight it tooth and nail. And they use their legacy network of political influence and wealth to stop progress.
Well, it's also the people like myself who see the economic damage you're going to be doing to normal everyday people. So again, if you want the electric vehicles and you can get the prices down and you can get enough energy into the grid through wind and solar, beautiful. I'm all for it. Trust me, I would love to never give Exxon or BP another dime of my money. But we're not there yet, and we're not going to be there for a really, really long time, if ever, off of these magical unicorn fart energy solutions that these people, that him and Crazy Cat Lady are proposing.
Us have to reform these international institutions so that the people of this world, and including the young people of this world, can say, we are now in charge of our own destiny. We're going to stop using the sky as an open sewer. We're going to say...
I love how he equates carbon dioxide, again, what plants breathe, to sewage. It's what he exhales. So his breath is sewage.
The future and give people hope. We can do it, and remember that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of hope in eating insects and never being able to travel outside your 20-mile radius that's enforced by government tracking systems. I mean, this is what these people are planning, while he gets to get on a private jet and go to Switzerland. Like, no one believes this. And the idea that the young people want to do this, most of them, again, are not interested in this. You have filled them with distractions, and they don't care. Now, a few you have hyped up into a feverish frenzy. It's sort of like, I liken it to back during the Cold War when they had these ridiculous like duck and cover drills in the schools and these fallout shelters under schools. and they would practice ducking and covering in case the A-bomb fell. It's that kind of fear. And we know it's fear just based off his, the very beginning of his rant here, when he's like, and the rain bombs and the atmospheric rivers and they're melting the ice and the oceans are it's like, God, like, whoa. If you're an impressionable young mind, you might be terrified by that too. That's scary stuff.
Political will is itself a renewable resource.
All right, folks. I don't know how it happened, but somehow he was able to avoid spontaneous combustion there. I felt like at any minute he would start smoking like a lithium battery, and like the fire department would have to come in and like dump flame retardant foam on him or something. Appreciate you watching. Check back next week for another Woke Wednesday. The next episode of my podcast, The Great Awakening with Coach Duke Lowry, will drop tomorrow. And until then, have a great week.